Quackalacking guys, I'm a Duck Quack here, and welcome back to the next episode in our 0 to 1 million coin guide series. So if you remember in the last episode, I think it was, we were finishing off La Liga SBC, and we picked up pretty much everyone we needed, excluding a few players, and obviously excluding the players from the bigger clubs as well. So like the big expensive ones from Real Madrid, Atletico and Barcelona. So we have got tons and tons of La Liga players here, ready to just sell like crazy as soon as the La Liga SBC drops. Now, it's a little bit frustrating that we didn't choose Bundesliga, but we had to make that gamble, and the gamble, obviously, it's going to pay off eventually. It just didn't pay off as soon as it potentially could have, if you like. Anyway, moving on from that, we did pick up a copy of Benzema as well, just on the off chance that it was, and we'd had a pretty decent profit with him. We picked him up for 18.5, and we've got him listed for 21,750. Then the very last thing we spent our coins on, as you can see, is a bunch of Norwich and Ipswich players, and we have got, again, a bunch of them here that we picked up for marquee matchup investments. Now, this has already come up in marquee matchups, so it's very, 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 almost impossible, basically, that it's going to come up again. But if we have a quick look on the transfer list, there's two players here for 500 that have just been listed. They're realistically selling for about 800 odd coins. So we're going to go on and list ours up for 700 for the Ipswich players, and for the Norwich players, we're going to go for about 700. Between 6 and 7, because we want them all to sell fairly quickly. And that's making us roughly a 3 times profit as we bought all of these guys for 200 coins. We're not going to make a killing from it, but it is going to be a nice profit. And this would obviously have scaled as well. Ooh, I wonder how much the silver players are going for. I wonder if they're going for that little chunk more. Like the cheapest is 950. We can probably get away with like 850 on him and he'll sell fairly quickly. We're going to list these guys out for 850. We don't want to be caught with them. We don't want them not selling before the event drops and then people realizing, oh crap, they're not in the marquee matchups and us losing money. We picked up just a few of these guys because we didn't have much time, but the plan was always to sell these guys on hype. And that is exactly what we're going to be doing now, listing each and every one of these guys and selling them based on hype alone. And we're just going to alternate the prices here. So we're going to come to 650 on this guy. We'll give us 600 on the next. Because I'm listing so many at the same time, we don't want them all at the same price. That is the main problem with it. Whoops. Let's probably not list any more of those guys for now, because we don't want to flood the market. We want these guys to sell before we keep listing the rest of them, and we will list up a bunch of these Norwich players now. And then we'll just, over the course of this episode, we will keep on listing the Ipswich players as well. We will shift them all before marquee matchups, which is in just under 2 hours from now. So we've got quite a while left before we need to start worrying about potentially any of them not selling or anything like that. So let's just send those all to the transfer list for now and check just to see if anything is selling fairly quickly. There's a Bernat there we were watching for some reason. I'm guessing that the reason we're on 99k is because Benzema's sold, or we've just earned a ton of money that I didn't even think was possible from that many. Yeah, Benzema's sold, and only one of those players so far have gone. Let's get rid of those contracts and that one guy. So now we're just kind of hoping that all of this stuff does sell, and it will. The majority of it, the 600 coin one there, is already gone. We don't want to list too many up, like I said. So what we are going to do in the meantime is we're going to have a little look at investing in some last-minute marquee matchups. Now, it is always better to invest in advance for those kind of games, like I mentioned before. But if we are coming on last minute, it's usually the bigger games, so the ones that have got tons of golds available for them, that you can pick up for a little bit cheaper. So if we go onto Juventus and we search for 800, and we just start sniping on this filter here, eventually we are going to get some players. And it just depends if it's worth our time, the amount of time it takes to perhaps win 1 or 2 players, or just to see how many pop up in the space of doing this for like 5-10 minutes or something, is what's going to be mad. We might need to up it. We'll put it at 1,000 coins. The benefit with Juventus players at the moment is, even if the Torino game isn't the game that's included, then there's a good chance that maybe a Champions League match, the game against Tottenham, could be the one that they pick for tonight. So it's kind of a double-ended investment. And I'm pretty sure, surely Juventus players aren't that much risen in price. It seems like they're pushing over 1,500 coins. So if we did invest in this last week, we'd be sitting at, oh, it's not massive. It's not a huge profit. We'll continue to snipe at about 1,000 coins. If we don't get any luck on these guys, then we will simply change up the method. We could try sniping Torino players. We could try going for a different game altogether. And The problem is it's 4 o'clock. Not a lot of these players are going to be listed at the moment, which means it could be worthwhile just completely changing it up and going for a different game here. So we're going to go to the Switzerland League. And the reason I want to keep that in the video is just to show you that you can invest last minute on marquee matchups, but just how much harder it becomes to actually do so. So Young Boys are playing Fun, and it's got a possibility of making the marquee matchups. So if we have a quick look here, you can see that there's still a ton of these guys going for basically discard value. And that is the ones that we want to take the gamble on. It's last minute. It could be included in the marquee matchups. Oh, how much are the silver players going for? A bit more than I want to spend. They could be included in the marquee matchups, so there's no harm in going for a gamble on these, especially when we can pick them up for probably 200 coins on bid. We don't want to be bidding 150. The problem is someone's got bids on all of them. The main reason I want to bid on them is because we don't want to fill our transfer list space with them. Let's see how many gold players that Young Boys have got that are going for around discard. Like 450 is basically discard. Let's pick up these two here. They carry quite a lot less risk because if there's a team rating, these guys really help boost it. So we can keep these two here. Oh, we've still got all those. We've still got one of these guys in the club, I think, that we might have bought when we were investing in the Ipswich and Norwich players. Sorry, I was completely losing what I was saying there. Let's try setting it to, whoops, I don't even know what I'm doing right now, 600 coins and try sniping on that. Okay, so they have started to rise pretty nicely for the gold ones. Let's go just back to the bronze ones and just buy a bunch of them for 200 coins. Or maybe we should check, actually, let's check the Fun players and see if we can get any of these guys for cheap. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot less. I don't think they've got any gold players either. So this could be pretty good as far as an investment goes here. Because surely these guys are going to be rarer. We're going to go through and we're going to buy a bunch of these guys. We're going to try and avoid the goalkeepers if we can. Because there's... Oh, that's quite a low rating as well. Try and avoid the low rating and the goalkeepers if we can. And we'll just pick up maybe like... I think we got quite a few spaces on the transfer list. So we'll pick up maybe 20 of these guys. And then we'll go back onto Young Boys, pick up 20 of those for discard. If it's not included, then we will slowly sell them back off for 200 coins. It'll take a while, but they will sell over a period of time. If they are included, then hey, fantastic, we can make ourselves an absolute killing. But this is such a low risk, high possible reward that it is just worth going in on. Especially because, as to my memory, I don't think they've included a game from this league so far this year. I just can't click at the moment. So that kind of makes it a little bit more likely as well that we could get lucky and this game could be one of the games that are picked. But either way, it's not going to cost us a fortune. The profits that we've already made from the Norwich and Ipswich players are going to more than cover the cost of these investments. And if these do come in, then we could be making an absolute killing like I mentioned before. Let's just pick up a couple more of these guys because I feel like we've already got quite a few. Another striker wouldn't go amiss. A couple more of these left mid guys. They're 56, 57 rated. We'll just get the slightly higher rated guys for now. And then I think we'll leave it at that. Oh, a rare bronze will do as well. And one more striker there. Okay, that should do it for those players. Then we could also pick up a bunch of the Young Boys players as well. So let's send these 27 players to the transfer list. How many slots does that leave us on? Oh, we got a couple of these. We got him in the club. We probably got him from Bronze Pack Method or something. We've just got 9 slots left on this one. So let's go back onto Young Boys and see if we can get a couple of gold players, maybe on a snipe or something, for around 550. Whoops. Maybe we'll just stick to bronze. We'll just stick to bronze. We'll just stick to 200 coins on bronze. And again, we'll go for like the slightly higher rated. Ideally not a goalkeeper again though. 59 rated is pretty good, and that's centre mid as well. So I think we could get 9 of these, wasn't it, that we said we could get. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll get a goalkeeper. He's 60 rated. 6, 7, and just 2 more. Actually, we'll just get 1 more for now because we want that extra 1 slot just in case we need it for anything on the transfer list. And we'll send all of those guys to there as well. Okay, so that pretty much covers up some last-minute marquee matchup investments. It shows you how you can prepare in advance. So as you can see, the Ipswich and the Norwich players are selling. The Norwich ones are going a lot easier. 750, 600, and 650 for the Ipswich guys they sold so far. Do we not have many Ipswich guys left listed? Oh, we've got like none. Okay, cool. So we can kind of just go back in here and go in for 700 on these guys. So let's list these guys up for 700. Let's list that goalkeeper up, that Norwich one there, for 700 as well. We bought him for 300 apparently. That's a bit more than I wanted to spend on these guys. 200, as you can see, is what we spent on most of them though. And we're making a 3 times profit just selling these guys off hype. And then we could go back in, and we have gone back in, and we can make another set of profit selling, well, investing in these guys and hoping they actually come up. So these guys were for the short term, these were for the hype sells, and the next investments are for the actual wait and kind of hope they're included on the release. We've actually got quite a few of these players. We'll drop a couple down to 650, just so we don't flood the market with these guys. We'll drop him down to 650, and I think we've got maybe one left down here. Oh, we have got another page as well, so we actually might have a couple more left on that last page as well. No, it looks like that could be. Oh no, we've got loads left. God, I completely didn't realise how many of these players we actually had. Which is fantastic because it's all making us profit. It's making us a nice chunk of profit. But if we'd gone massive on these guys, we could have 3 times our coins. It would have just taken forever to sell them, obviously. But that isn't necessarily a problem. He's going for 600 apparently, which is fine by me. Oh my god, there's still so many more. I'm really worried that we're going to like completely flood this market though. And it's such a small market unless there's people just investing last minute that it can be so volatile to an influx of this many cards. Let's put him up for 600. But as you can see, we're almost back up to 100,000 coins, and they are selling relatively quickly here. All of those guys have sold. We've still got the 2 silver goalkeepers selling there, so we can clear those guys, leave the rest of it to sell. We've got the fun players, the young boys players. We could go in with a couple more players. There's a game between Braga and Vitória Guimarães, known as Derby Domino, and that potentially could be an investment opportunity as well. It's in the Portuguese league, so let's just go and have a little look at that one. Guimarães, 600 coins. There are tons of players up. Ooh. Okay, so the Guimarães game, if we go on gold and we take it down to 500 coins, 550 coins, there's not a lot, is there? What if we go down to silver on 550 coins? There's not a lot either. Okay, you know what? Let's pick up those few players that they had on golds for 550. I know it's overspending a little bit. It's a bit above discard. But because there's so many SBCs that use these kind of players, we can always guarantee that we can break even on these guys at least. And what we might do now is just throw a bunch of bids on these guys as well. Seeing if... Was that a new guy that just got listed for 400? Yeah, we might as well pick him up while we're there as well. We're going to throw a bunch of bids on them. We use that transfer target list space. So we're going to see if... Oh, there's another one. We might as well keep buying them if they keep popping up like this. Then for 400, 500 coins, then we'd be stupid not to. This could be quite an easy snipe, actually. As you can see, there's just so many of them. We missed out on that one guy there, but they just keep getting relisted. Let's just see if like sniping them is an actual thing to do for 500 coins. Oh no, it's for transfer space. That was the issue, wasn't it? So let's search for max price of 500. Yeah. Oh god, we could probably be winning these for so much cheaper than I just spent. I think I might have just overspent on a bunch of these guys, but that's fine. That's fine. It's a lesson to remember and show you guys as well that you can always do it for cheaper. And even spending like 500 coins that we just bid on that guy, it's not a problem. Even if we can win a bunch of them for like 350, 400 coins. We're just going to go through to like maybe the 10th minute on this, and then we will monitor the bids that we've got going as well at the moment. And then we can also bid on some players from the other half of this, so the Braga side of it. I think we can probably get a couple more bids in before we hit the 10-minute mark here. Whoops, there's the 10-minute mark. And let's just go on to Braga now as well. Where is it? There it is. And bid on a bunch of players here for less than 500 coins as well. It seems like there's a bit more competition on this one. So let's see if we can get kind of lucky on this. It looks like we're getting a bid on quite a few of those other players that we've just bid on as well. So it'll probably be a case of us keeping an eye on our transfer target list and rebidding when we get outbid up to the point of about 500 coins where we were happy with bidding for them for. So we're just gonna, oh my god, I don't know what's up with my controller. It seems to like be a bit erratic sometimes. As you can see, it kind of just like jumps, which I feel like it may be broken or something, which probably suggests I should get a new controller, but screw that. We're just gonna, yeah, 500 coins on these Braga players is absolutely fine because that seems to be what they're going for currently on bids. We are actually going to fill up the whole transfer target list with these players though. And then that will give us like solid, whoops, we don't want to bid 550 on him. That will give us a solid bunch of 2 games covered for when Marquee Matchups actually drops in about an hour and a half. So we've got loads of potential now. We want to see how many of these we're actually winning. We've been outbid on 7 of them already. We're fine bidding 450 on these guys, like we said. We're fine going up to 500 coins at most. God, the lag's kicking in a little bit as well. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to continue bidding on these guys till we fill up our transfer target list. Then I'm going to have a little break, come back to this video when Marquee Matchups drops, and we can discuss our investments, what worked with them, what didn't work with them. And we can also see if there's any good sniping filters around the new Marquee Matchups. Then in the next episode, we have got to cover the Player of the Month that's coming up on Friday and how we can best invest in that, and talk about other kind of repeating events and stuff that we can use to increase our coin total as well. Okay then, guys, so it is just about 6 o'clock, so Marquee Matchups is just about to drop. Just before it does though, all of those Ipswich and Norwich players we managed to sell on Hype, and we made an absolute killing off them. We've got all of these Young Boys and Fun players, as well as the Gamieles, or whatever they're called, and the Braga players that are just going to be sitting on our transfer target list as well. So we're absolutely stacked in the club. We've got maybe like 70 or something crazy amount of these cards. We're holding these, well, we bought these obviously in hopes that they are included and that the requirements are good enough to pump up the prices a little bit. There is obviously a chance that they're not and that we just aren't going to get any money from these. Like that, absolutely useless. They included the Polish game, they included the Bundesliga game, the Torino-Juventus game. That was the one that we felt like could be included and could be pretty good. The Aston Villa-Fulham game was another one that was included. So, I mean, there's no harm done with it. We bought these guys knowing the risks. We bought these guys knowing that there was a chance that they didn't get included, and none of them did get included. So it's just a case of listing all of these guys up very, very slowly, selling them one at a time until we actually get to a point where we are profitable from them. And the thing is, because we bought all of these guys for 200 coins, we will lose tax most likely on them. And that'll be all we lose though, just the tax side of it. These non-rare gold players, we will be able to sell for, the most we spent on them is 500. So even if we list them all at 550 a piece, then we will be making ourselves the tiniest bit of profit on it. But again, that is a tiny bit of profit. And Marquee Matchups is always a gamble. You can always pick games that aren't going to be included. Sadly, we didn't just commit to the Torino-Juventus ones. The fact that you need 2 players from each club, that's going to push prices up quite a chunk. And even if we were buying them at like the 1100, 1200 coins that we could have got them for, we would still probably be at least doubling our coins on them. But at the time, it was just too big a risk for us to take. And that's the problem with Marquee Matchups. Hype selling is always where it's at. So we could have been buying those guys before the event for about 700, 800 coins last week, and then selling them on now for about 1200, 1300 coins. So almost doubling our coins, like we tripled our value with the Norwich and the Ipswich players. But instead, we chose to go for some lesser known games. We went big on them as well. We picked up a lot of players for them, and it is going to take a fair while for us to sell all these cards, but that's fine. Over the course of the week, they will all go eventually. It's just a case of staying on top of them, listing them up constantly, and just making sure that the relist happens every hour or as close to as possible. But I just wanted to keep this episode fairly short. So I know we've spoken about Marquee Matchups quite a lot on this series, and we've spoken about how we can invest beforehand and then how we can invest when the event drops and everything like that. And that's kind of what we've covered. We've shown some investments that were profitable selling in Hype, and then we've also shown the risk of buying them. We're buying them either last minute or buying them in hopes that the event actually needs the players. And we've done both of that. So just to jump on here and have a look at, we want to jump onto Serie A, and we want to let's go Torino to start with, and we'll set it at gold. So if we're looking at 1200 coins, we can probably get, nope. Let's see how much they're selling for. We might have a sniping filter available to us here if we're lucky. 2000, there's loads of them up there. Let's go Juventus instead. I feel like Juventus, because they're a bit rare, are going to have a bigger price jump. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the 2k price got extinct fairly quickly, if I'm being honest as well. Let's drop it down to 1500 coins for now though. We're never going to get that Chesney. But we can see that they're already extinct at 1500 coins, and they're most likely going to keep rising in this. Not massively, but probably up to about 2.5k is where I would imagine, because you need the 2 players. So even buying all these right now would probably turn us a profit, but because we haven't got the transfer space on our targets or on our transfer list, it becomes impossible for us to do. We could try sniping some of these players for about 1400 coins for a while, But the problem with this is, again, is our transfer target space. We've got 5 slots on there at the moment, unless we start discarding these cards. And that isn't ideally what we want to do. So the bottom line is, how it's going to work out is we made about 20,000 coins off the Ipswich Norwich players. Then we took a gamble with the last minute investments. And over time we will break even, but it's not going to be an easy break even, and I may even just sell them for a little bit less and take about a 5k loss. So it might have only been a 15,000 coin profit that we make from these marquee matchups, but it shows you guys a lot more of how the logic around it all works as well. No, we're too slow to snipe at the moment. In the sense of buying early, selling on hype is so much more profitable, so much easier than buying in advance and taking that gamble on waiting on them to drop and just hoping that they're in there. Because the chances are EA choose such random games these days that you're just not going to get your game included, and it's going to be an absolute nightmare for you. So anyway, guys, going to wrap up the episode there. We didn't make a ton of coins on here, but like I mentioned before, this guide as well, it's showing you exactly how everything works along the way. So when we cleared all of these up, we should be sitting on around about 110, 120,000 coins. And then in the next episode, we can move on to some more solid trading methods. Probably some like League SBC stuff, not pre-investing, but buying cards, sniping, mass bidding, whatever we want to do on cards that are currently needed for current SBCs, and showing you how we can turn a profit on that as well. If you are still enjoying the series though and you do find it useful, make sure you drop a like, comment down below of how you guys are getting on, subscribe, Twitter, Discord, everything that you guys always do. But anyway guys, thanks for watching and I'll catch you next time.